With time running out until the next set of elections and many concerns around the country about the security of the elections, the security of people to actually be able to exercise their right to vote, lots of action is needed, and thankfully there are a number of organizations fighting to give people that right. We're joined now by an expert in this area, Executive Director of the New Georgia Project, Insay Ufot. Welcome to the Damage Report.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, very glad to have you here. Excited to learn about the New Georgia Project. So in this, this big area of organizations concerned about people being able to exercise their democratic rights, what are some of the efforts that you're a part of?
So yeah, we were founded in 2013-14 by former candidate for governor, Stacey Abrams. And the mission of the New Georgia Project is very simple. Our goal is to register, engage, and activate Georgia's rising electorate, the new American majority, people of color and young people under the age of 30. To date, we've helped 400,000 Georgians register to vote. And we've registered 50,000 of them just this year in 2019, with the belief that we can create super voters, that they are not born, that they are made. When we have candidates that are representative and an agenda that is clear and connected to the priorities of people of color and young people.
So I believe in 2018, the percentage voting, it's a midterm election, generally the percentage voting is lower, was pretty good. And in some groups, including younger voters, that especially in midterm elections generally don't turn out at very high rates, they were more engaged. Is it your belief that, especially with the help of organizations like the New Georgia Project, that 2020 is going to be a big turnout election for some of these groups?
That is absolutely the belief that we have. So we are investing sort of in year-round engagement. So one of my great frustrations as a young person, as a person of color, has been the way that we talk about elections and the sort of strategy for engagement. Oftentimes in the sort of last weeks in the fall before an election, people, come with the urgent message, vote or die, rocking the vote, and an incredible amount of inefficient investment in the last couple of weeks before an election. And we believe, again, that in order to create super voters, and those are people who vote in every election in which they're eligible, that we have year-round conversations with people about what matters, that folks will tell you what their hopes are for themselves and their families and their communities, and they'll tell you what their fears are. I think that, there are a lot of assumptions about young people and people of color and their political participation, and people use these assumptions to inform massive multi-million-dollar campaigns. Some of those assumptions are that young people are unreliable, and that Black people don't vote, and that Latinos are not citizens. And we have shown differently of the people that of the 1 million face-to-face conversations that we had in 2018. We saw a 50% turnout of the people that we've registered to vote, which blows historical numbers and trends out of the water, and lets us know that we're onto something, that we're on the right path.
Hey, Insay, good morning. I want to talk about voter suppression a little bit, and because I think a lot of people still don't realize how bad of a problem this is. So if you could break down just some of the tactics that you've seen, and also what you all are doing to fight that.
Right. So oftentimes when you say voter suppression, like the image that's conjured in folks' minds is, Bubba on the back of a pickup truck with trying to intimidate Black voters. Mm-hmm. And what we've seen, particularly in Georgia, but across the country, is that the voter suppression attempts have become much more sophisticated. So, for example, massive purges of the voter rolls. So we're really proud of the 400,000 people that we've registered to vote, but I must offer that fact in the context that under former Secretary of State, now our asterisk Governor Brian Kemp, 2 million people. We're talking about 10% of Georgia's polling locations closed, and most of them were closed or merged in majority people of color neighborhoods and communities where the majority of the voters are people of color. Oftentimes, they'll be given a race-neutral excuse for why it's happened, right? Budget cuts, it's an attempt to save money, but the impact has had a disproportionate, disparate impact on people of color. We're talking about the exact match system where, if you register with, if your information does not 100% match what is on a number of rolls that the state maintains, then you are purged from the voter rolls. So if my name is Michael and the person who's doing the data entry at the county level inverts the A and the E, my information no longer 100% matches what the state has on file, and I'm kicked off of the voter rolls. In Georgia, if you don't vote in 2 back-to-back federal elections, you are put on a list, a pending list, and set to be purged if you don't vote after 2 federal elections. Oh. And so when you add these suppression schemes together, they may not be, again, on their face like we are making it more difficult for Black people or young people to vote, but they have the same impact.
Okay, and thankfully, there are groups like yours fighting against this. Insay, thank you so much for joining us today, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks for having me.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.